Hello, everybody. Today is March 19th, 2026. Let me share my screen. We are going to be working on. Did we say we're going to be working on chapter 4 or chapter 3 today?
Chapter 4.
That's what I thought. Whenever I want to move ahead, it's like, was that just me wishful thinking? I don't want to push y'all any faster than you need to be pushed, but I think you're doing so well that I'm not surprised. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you about something I did. Let me show you. We were talking about using AI in the previous meeting, if you were able to attend that. Um, let me, I don't see where agents is. I have a million conversations, apparently. I need to get to agents.
Does Copilot have agents?
It does, and I don't see how to get there. So, um, how to create a Copilot? I can't spell. Agent. Okay. Open the app. Am I not in the right one? Microsoft 365. I think this is just Copilot, not
Yeah,
365.
you need Microsoft 365. Yes.
How do I get there?
Do you have account for Microsoft 365?
Um, Not on this computer. So let me tell you what I did.
Yeah.
I have Microsoft 365 on my work computer.
Yeah.
So if you have Microsoft 365, this is what I'm going to tell you, and I will share the prompts with you. I opened it up and it says create agent. You hit create agent. I said, I want you to create me a CBAP test bank, for CBAP people. And I gave it prompts like it's multiple choice questions, make it four options, A, B, C, and D. Don't make it the same letter every time. Don't make it a pattern, and don't make any two questions have the same answer sequentially. Um, I told it make it scenario based. Use the Babok, and I gave it my PDF of my Babok. And I said, focus on chapters 3 through 8 for your questions, but utilize all of the Babok, for the other background information. I told it to keep track of how many questions I got wrong and right by chapter. And at the end, give me an output that gave me, you had got this many questions for this chapter, this many were right, this many was wrong, and here's your answer. And so give me a breakdown at the end of every set of 25. So I gave it all that. Guys, in 4 minutes, it was asking me questions. Look at that. Copilot AI is raising my hand for me because I did that thing. So you can I've been talking about Watermark and you can get this discounted stuff. You can do it yourself. It's quite exciting. So this is available to you if you want to go this way, or you can make your own.
Can you share the prompt with us because you wrote it?
I can. It's on my other computer, so
Yeah.
I'll put it in Slack. Let me ask a question about Slack, especially because Cassie is here. Does everybody have access to Slack now?
I
Is there
do have
anybody that's
access,
having a
but
challenge?
I'm still
Yes.
seeing your messages, Thea, so I don't dare entering Slack because I'm still logged into your account in a way or another.
Um,
So I booked a time with the Cassie for this week
okay,
to fix it
okay.
all. Yeah.
Here's the deal. Because you can see my messages, it probably means that you have uh access to everything I have access to, and I trust you. I'll just
I'm
say it
not
that
entering Slack. I just
way.
entered the file repository to take all the files
That's fine.
that
That's
I'm not
fine.
even using to like
Okay. How many people have been using the files that are in the repository? Yes? Okay. How about
I
what if you're working through the requirements packets, what packet are you on? Because I'm still working on packet 6, on group 6.
okay.
you
Is
mean the
anybody
techniques?
I'm sorry, say it again.
You mean the techniques?
Yes, the techniques.
Yeah, there is a mistake in group one in the
Good. Send it
multiple
to me so we can
choice.
make it better.
I don't know, it's
It's
the
okay.
whole
Just
the
send
whole
it.
other test you didn't write. If you enter, you didn't write the techniques. You wrote different multiple choices. Is it on purpose? Like in group one, you
I
have
tell you what.
easy
Send.
exam and a hard exam.
Okay. Send it to me and I'll look at it. Okay.
Sure.
Has anybody gotten to group 4? Nobody's at group 4 yet? Okay. The reason I'm asking is because I'm working on group 6. Group 6 is for me the hardest until I get to group 10. Group 6 is the diagrams. And with it, I'm giving you lots of examples and, how to do cardinality and crow's foot notation and Jordan and things that you need to know for like 2 questions on the test, but you still need to know it, right? So I'm putting a lot of extra time into that one. Okay. So we're going to start with CBAP on chapter 4, which is elicitation and collaboration. Now, before we start this, I want to just do a mini review here. I'm not going to ask who has read chapter 4 because that just isn't fair. Sometimes life gets in the way. Let's talk about this. So chapter 4 also has 5 different tasks. And I want you to think about the whole BABOK as it's a file room. I don't know if you've ever worked in a big company that they had a file room with lots of file cabinets. Well, the BABOK is kind of like a file room, and each knowledge area is its own file cabinet, and each task is its own file drawer. And then inside that file drawer, you have your purpose and your description and your inputs and your elements and all the different files in it. So we know that whenever we are in this knowledge area, and we decide that we are talking about this particular task, and then we say, okay, that's the drawer we open, and we say, what are the inputs? We know this is the only answer that could be possible. Does that make sense? It's just, you just eliminate everything else. So before I get started with the questions, do I have any questions about this or anything else?
I
Okay.
do have a question, Thea.
Yes, Michelle.
So I know that these sessions are like recorded and everything. I am really struggling to find where, after they're recorded, where are they published so that we can go back and look at them again?
Let me show you that. So
Because
if you go,
I've looked in Slack, I've looked, and I was like, I've got to be missing something.
so it usually gets to be on Bob's Amazing Index at rpchurchill.com. But if you look here, they've got them organized. Let me go to our channel. Well, okay, we're going to try RP. So this is Bob's Amazing Index. And whenever you first go to his website, it looks like this. And you choose Tampa IIBA Study Group. And this is all of the recordings we've done since 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And right here in orange, here's week 1. This is what he has out here right now. And if you click on this link, it will take you directly to that. He will have the rest of them out here very soon. He's a little bit behind. If you scroll 2/3, 3/4 the way down here, this is what we've done in the previous years. Everything in yellow is last year. And I'm not expecting you to go in. Well, here's Bob himself. Hello, Bob.
Go back up to the top, please.
Yes, sir.
There's the YouTube link right there. Try that.
Oh, thank you. And look, it's much better organized. Look at that. So here's our study group right here, guys. Here's the 4
Okay.
meetings we've had so far.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I'll get the index updated shortly.
Okay. So you are welcome to go back. Let me go back to Bob's index. If you are interested, and you don't have to because you'll get what you need out of this class. But some people like to, have it on in the background while they're washing dishes or something. If you want to watch more, this is last year's class, everything in yellow, and then previous years. And I will tell you, we've gotten better as the years have gone by. So if you watch these early ones, you're going to go, she doesn't ask those same questions the same way. I think back in 21, maybe 22, we weren't doing the techniques intermingled with the knowledge areas. So we spent weeks agonizing over going through like 4 techniques a week, and it was horrible. Because techniques by themselves, they're just a thing that you don't put them inside a purpose. We're putting them inside a purpose this way. But this is available to you. These down here are us doing combos. Like, look at this. This is chapters 3 through 8, and then some techniques. So if you want to, it's the same tool that we're using with Watermark. It's just, I seriously think we're better now than we were then. Okay, y'all ready for chapter 4? All right.
Yes.
I love your happy faces. And incidentally, I would just want you to know, you answering questions is important to me because it tells me that you're invested. I understand there's a difference between introverts and extroverts. Those of us who are extroverts, when we start thinking, we start talking. We think out loud. I mean, that's part of our processing. People who are introverts, they need to process. They need time to process. So I want to give you a little bit extra time and ask those of you who are extroverts just to wait 10 seconds. And I've got a counter up here that we're going to count. We're going to wait 10 seconds after I finish doing all the questions, all the answers, to let everybody have a moment to process before people start talking and adding to what you have to process. Does that sound good? Okay. Also, if you log in and I never see you on camera and I never hear from you at all, I'm going to assume you weren't here, and I'm not going to give you credit for the class because it's not fair to you who are engaged and involved to be getting an hour or hour and a half of credit for this, and then people that they're obviously not even around to be getting credit for too. Okay? All right. Setting clear expectations there. But you guys are here, so let's get going. What does elicitation activity plan include? So we know that the elicitation activity plan is the output of one of the tasks. Can you tell me which one it is?
A.
Prepare,
I'm
prepare
sorry,
for
say
prepare elicitation.
prepare for elicitation. The activity plan is the output of prepare for elicitation. That's correct. So what does it include? Instead of me reading these, I'm going to compare them. They all say logistics. This one, scope of elicitation activity. This one agrees, and this one agrees. This one does not have scope of elicitation activity. Is that important?
Yes.
So does that mean we can eliminate this one?
Oh, no, no, no. I didn't mean that.
Okay.
We
So 3 of them
eliminate
have scope of elicitation activity. One of them doesn't.
Oh, yeah, we can eliminate C.
Okay, we eliminate C because it doesn't have one of the elements in it. I'm sorry, aspects of it. Then selected techniques. This one doesn't say selected techniques. Is that important?
we can eliminate D. There is no experiment and research.
Right.
Okay. And then research or supported materials.
Supporting materials.
Supporting materials.
So we believe this one is the correct answer because it has all of the aspects of the elicitation activity plan. Okay. These items comprise the scope of the elicitation activity plan. Okay, let's go into the next one. And for this one, I will wait a 10 count, but that one, we kind of had to do that one together. Shelby is eliciting requirements for a new program intended to increase employee satisfaction. Recent surveys indicated that employees did not feel recognized for a job well done, but the sponsor is not sure a gold star award would bolster employee satisfaction results in their company. What could Shelby suggest? So let's talk about which task are we in. She's eliciting requirements. So which task are we in?
Conduct elicitation.
They
Mhm.
called it.
Right. Okay. And let's look at some other elements in this. There's surveys that have happened. The sponsor's not sure a Gold Star Award would bolster employee satisfaction results. So, possible answers. Suggest that a quick survey be distributed to see what employees think of the idea. Scrap the idea because it's too risky. Researching other companies to see what they do, and then benchmarking against existing programs. Or suggest the Gold Star Award be piloted and then assess the results before moving forward. Let's give it a 10 count and then determine what we can eliminate.
I would eliminate D. Just because Gold Star, Pilot S, it's already like the sponsor's not sure to accept it, so it feels counterintuitive to do that.
And I would eliminate B because you don't want to scrap. I mean, yeah, I would eliminate that.
Okay.
I think it's C.
I think, yeah, research.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's A.
I
You
think
like
it's
D?
A too. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's A.
I think A. I'm not.
A.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's check it. Okay.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
the correct answer is suggest to be piloted, and then they assess the
Mm.
results. This is a type of elicitation called experiments. There's 3 types of elicitation, and it's used when information is unknown without some sort of controlled test. Let's talk about why A is not correct. It says suggest a quick survey. This is a close answer, but a survey would not provide detailed requirements and may work against the overall objective if the program is queried but not implemented. It's kind of like, do you want it? Not going to get it. In addition, response rates on surveys are often too low for a thorough understanding of a topic, and any ambiguous questions may be left unanswered or answered incorrectly. Given this is a new award program, which people know little about, it may be difficult to get employees' input on something that doesn't exist. In this case, it might be better to conduct a pilot of the award program to get more realistic feedback. So if you didn't get that one correct, that is 4.2.2. We're going to conduct a elicitation, and point 2 is going to be the description.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So can you click on C?
Sure. Happy
What
to
does
do
that
that
say?
anytime. This scenario suggests the sponsor isn't sure the Gold Star Award would work at their company. Researching and benchmarking other companies would not change that.
Change that.
Here
Okay.
they're calling for a pilot
Okay.
in this company. You know,
Okay.
it's one of those things is like it can work over at Del Monte Foods, but here at the Chrysler Corporation, we don't speak that language.
Okay.
I don't know where I got those companies from. I just made up 2 companies that you are the business analyst for your organization, and you've identified the stakeholders in your organization. As part of the identification, you've identified the stakeholder engagement approach, the business analysis information, and business analysis performance assessment. What other input is needed to prepare for the elicitation and collaboration tasks? So, elicitation and collaboration tasks, you've identified stakeholders, you've identified the engagement approach, you've got the business analysis information and business analysis performance assessment. So what task are we talking about, guys?
Mm.
Prepare for elicitation.
That's possible. Do y'all agree it's prepare for elicitation?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you need supporting documentation? Do you need the needs? Do you need the executive sponsor approval? Or do you need the project charter? Let's give it a 10 count before we answer. Okay, which one are we going to eliminate?
Project charter and the sponsor approval
Why are we eliminating those?
because we don't need them.
Because we don't need them. So what do we need?
Needs.
Think Bravo.
Yeah.
You know?
Needs.
We need this input right here. We have this thing, we need this thing. This is needs. This is one of 3 different places that you need needs in the whole BABOK. The other 2 are up here in chapter 3. Plan business analysis approach, plan stakeholder engagement, and then prepare for elicitation. After that, you've got needs and you can move on. Doing the comparison is one of the ways my brain works and is able to remember things. It's like, okay, those 3 are together. You know, I put them in little groups and little buckets. So that's one reason that document works so well for me. It might not work well for you, but I hope it's some benefit. Which of the following are key inputs required to adequately prepare to elicit requirement information on the project? So requirement information, we want to elicit requirements information. Okay, so what is the task we're in?
Prepare for elicitation.
Okay, and so for that, we need inputs. Is it stakeholder lists, maps, and personas, stakeholder engagement approach and needs, solution scope and needs, or business case and needs?
B as in boy.
B.
B.
These are correct. Understanding the needs helps the BA understand the scope and purpose of the elicitation activities, while the planned stakeholder approach helps the BA plan appropriate and effective elicitation events. It is unfortunate that this answer came right after the last answer that was talking about the same thing. You're not going to get that every time, but for right now, we're confined to a single chapter. Stacy is a business system analyst assigned to a new management reporting initiative. Stacy has noted that a few of the current managers are a bit reluctant to make any changes to the existing management reports and may not be too cooperative while sharing their requirements about the management reports. What should Stacy do to manage those reluctant stakeholders? So first of all, what's Stacy's task? What's she doing right now?
Prepare.
Is she preparing for elicitation?
No,
Okay.
conducting.
She's conducting it. Okay.
But
She's already talked to them and found out that they're
Yeah.
reluctant. So she's in
Yeah.
the middle of conducting. Okay.
Yeah.
So what should she do to manage those reluctant stakeholders? Here are the 4 options. Stacy should take actions to prepare the stakeholders for the change initiative and ensure their buy-in. Stacy should explore lessons learned documents from previous projects to find the solutions from experiences of similar situations from any past project. Stacy should discuss the matter with the project manager and seek his or her help to sort this out. As stakeholders are from the senior management team, Stacy should discuss the matter with the sponsor and seek his or her help to sort this out. Let's give it a 10 count before we come back and identify which one we should eliminate. Okay, what do we want to eliminate, guys?
D and D.
D.
Why do we want to eliminate D?
You don't ask for help.
Well, the BABOK actually doesn't say don't ask for help, but it doesn't say do ask for help either, does it?
Right.
Okay, so we're not going to ask for help from them. Does that mean we're also not going to ask for help from the PM?
We don't
Right.
ask for help from
Okay,
PM.
so which one do we think is the correct answer and why?
B as in boy.
Why do you like that one, Jennifer?
Well, because I think I seem to remember that the assessment is part of the inputs.
Okay, I've got one vote for B.
It is
Anybody else?
Confused
A.
between A and
I
B.
think it's A.
I pick
Yeah.
A.
A
Why do y'all like A?
because their buy-in and change initiative. You have
Okay.
to convince them of the change.
Yes.
Convince them. Show them how it will benefit them, right? Let's test A. In preparing for elicitation, the business analyst should ensure that there is buy-in from all necessary stakeholders. Let's look at B. This is partly correct, and Stacy may follow this approach to learn a lesson about stakeholder management, but ultimately she has to take the necessary actions to sort out the issue. All right. Let's move on. You have completed the elicitation activity plan. You have prepared for and conducted a workshop to gather requirements. What is the typical next step that you would follow? You've prepared for and conducted a workshop to gather requirements, so that you've already finished conducting elicitation. What's the next task we should do after that?
Confirm.
Yeah.
Confirm elicitation results is the next task. So confirm your elicitation results and communicate as appropriate. Record the results from the workshop so they can be confirmed. Send meeting notes out to all attendees. Specify and model the requirements. Guys, I'm not even going to let you answer this one because it's wonky. It's going to tell you, it wants you to record the results before you go confirm them. I record my results as I get them, as people are giving me information. I record the results, but the BABOK says you get the results, you record the results, and then you confirm the results. And in some ways, I kind of understand that because, if they're giving me, these are process steps, and then I'm going to go take them and I'm going to turn them into a process map pretty on Visio so that they're easy to read. That may be what it's talking about recording the results, but you can't confirm what you haven't recorded. Okay? So that was a give me. Let's move on. What technique? Yes. Yes.
Can we go back? I want to inject something.
Yes,
And that
Bob.
is that every time you do something, you want to verify with other parties that you have it right. So I always talk about doing everything iteratively. I have a diagram of working through all the SDLC type phases of any engagement as a series of loops. And that means that you have a conversation that goes around and around until you're all on the same sheet of music. So conduct elicitation, you get the results, and then you confirm them. So that's part of having that iterative conversation so everybody is on the same sheet of music. I can show you that diagram when we're all done here tonight.
That would be great. Thank you, Bob. Okay. Which techniques would work best to confirm your elicitation results? So we are in confirm elicitation results task, and there's a finite number of techniques there. We want to know which ones that would be best to confirm them. Document analysis is in all of them. Interviews is in all of them. Reviews is in 3 of them. Do we need reviews?
Yes.
Okay. So we can eliminate this one. Workshops, requirements model, or process modeling. What do we think?
A.
I would say workshops. Yeah.
Yeah, workshops, yeah.
To confirm, these are the stated techniques for confirming elicitation results. I've got to tell y'all a horror story, and I promise this will be 3 minutes. I was working in Chicago away from my family. I'd been there for 6 weeks. We were consolidating 3 different call centers. I was the only BA on the project. I was a contractor that had been brought in from an outside organization, and it was Friday afternoon. I had 85% of the requirements documented. And I told my contact there, my boss at the company, that on Monday I had a workshop planned to review all of the requirements. And she said, well, what kind of requirements do you have? I said, I'm about 85%. We're good. We're at that point where we can do a good review. She looked at the list of people on my invitation, and she called my company and fired me because she was convinced that because we didn't have 100% of the requirements, that she was going to be embarrassed on Monday. And I got the call from the airport. And as a contractor, you're not allowed to contact the people after, you only go through your company. What I wish I had said, and I'm saying this to you now so that you never have this problem, even though they're smiling and nodding, go ahead and say, and as you know, A workshop is for us to review the requirements that we've gathered and to fill in any gaps and identify anything that's conflicting. If I just said that, maybe she would have understood. I didn't say it because she was smiling and nodding. So don't assume people understand. Sometimes I've since said, just so we're on the same page, a reason for this is, and I just say what I think they already know, but it doesn't sound like I'm being insulting to their understanding. I said it so that we're all on the same page. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. Which of the following activities applies the least to requirements, elicitation, and collaboration? So requirements, elicitation, and collaboration is the entire knowledge area, right? And it's asking least. Incidentally, on the CBAP test, you're not going to get leasts or nots or something like that. It's going to always be, here's the scenario, here's the answer. It's not going to be one of these double negative things. So, least, monitoring stakeholder engagement, a small enhancement to an existing system, developing a risk register, or installing new off-the-shelf software. Let's give it a 10 count before we answer. Okay, what can we eliminate? I'm sorry, which one is the one that's least that we will eliminate?
I don't remember, excuse me, I would say C, because I don't remember them talking about risk registers in this chapter.
Oh, C. Okay.
Yeah.
So we think that's the answer.
Yes.
I think
Well,
it's D
I do.
actually. Like
Why do you like D
off-the-shelter.
better?
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm thinking about that. Installing new off-the-shelf software when your requirements, solicitation, and collaboration.
C is part of the
I don't
solution.
know. I don't know about that. I think that would be big because if you're in the middle of that and then you install something else new, what's the impact on what you're currently, that can impact your requirements.
The question is asking the least likely in
Yeah, we want
elicitation and
least likely.
collaboration. So then the
Yeah.
least likely would be, okay. So you're saying it still would be in there, or is it not without? Like that's
I'm
the
saying
confusion I
it
have.
would be, I think, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong. I think D would be a big, it's not a least.
Okay.
Mm.
Nabil,
That's what I'm
why do
thinking.
you like D?
Because based on the other question, A, B, and C, those are all likely to be in elicitation collaboration. So to me, based on elimination, installing a new off-the-shelf software would be the least likely in the requirement. But that wording is kind of a little tricky, where it's like, is it saying least in terms of like it's still likely, or least as in it's not likely at all? That's what I'm kind of confused about.
So monitoring
Nico.
stakeholder engagement, we know we've got elicitation collaboration there, right? A small enhancement to an existing system, we've got to talk to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Developing a risk register,
This
do
is
we have to talk to somebody?
during implementation, not elicitation. You do the risk register.
Okay. And
I don't-
installing off-the-shelf software?
Actually pops up in everything you do. So
Yeah.
don't put risk in such a small box A. And I will also observe that B and D seem very similar to me. So the answer for whatever reason is either A or C, and I'm thinking it's not A. That's just me.
Well, let's
Please
test it.
continue.
Yeah.
Though the BA will contribute to the project's risk register regarding business analysis activities, elicitation and collaboration focuses more on drawing information from and collaborating, engaging with relevant stakeholders. Of all these responses, this is the most relevant, least relevant. Let's look at D. Business analysts still have to fully engage in COTS projects. The COTS is commercial off-the-shelf projects through the scope of the list, though the scope of the elicitation may vary. So this is the one that we're going to do least elicitation and collaboration, it says.
You see why it seemed to me that B and D were so similar.
Do. Thank you for your input. And honestly, guys, conversation between you guys, your ideas and reasoning is what helps everybody learn. So please continue. Paul is eliciting data requirements and discussing systems communication and how the two systems currently exchange data and services with the stakeholders. What principle is Paul discussing? So we're looking for a principle, and it's data requirements and discussing system communications and how two systems currently exchange data and services. So this is the definition of one of these terms. So that's what we're getting. So I'm going to read these and we're going to give it a 10 count. Trans-system exchange, portability, interoperability, or data migration. 10 count. Okay, what do we want to eliminate?
Trans-system exchange.
You don't like trans-system exchanges? I mean, we do them all. No, I've never heard of it. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay. So of the rest of these, which one is the principle we're talking about?
Interoperability.
C.
I don't think it's data migration, because data migration is when you're moving, not exchanging it.
Yeah, like it's a
Right.
one-way.
Interoperability is the ability of systems to communicate by exchanging data or services. Portability allows data to be moved but does not imply the exchange of data. And data migration is not an exchange, it moves data from one system to another. Our friend Cliff would say, well, that makes sense. He does data migration, like that's his every day, all day long thing. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question? This is BABOK glossary. How come it is a part of chapter 4?
Because well, I believe that these aren't they elements in one, aren't they one of the sections of elements? Let me look real quick.
I don't think so.
Two would be something that you do discuss during the recitation. So this will most likely be the contribution of the text or very detailed keys that are going to let you know like how one platform speaks to another. In my world, it would be like the fundraising platform to your sales force. So you're going to be talking about how the API changes and through which data fields and if they have a specific format, those kinds of things.
Okay. The question as to why we're getting questions on data on Babok glossary is because these terms are applicable to chapter 4. And so it would expect that you go look them up.
Okay.
According to the Babok, oh, this is going to be really hard. I'm worried about y'all getting it. Which of the following are tasks listed in the elicitation collaboration knowledge area? Let's do it together. They all have prepare for elicitation. They all have conduct elicitation. Confirm elicitation results, all of them. Communicate business analysis information in that one, and this one. This one has document business analysis information. Is it communicate or document?
Communicate.
Okay, so
no, that one's document
not that one.
elicitation.
Right? And then the next one is manage stakeholder engagement, manage stakeholder collaboration, facilitate stakeholder engagement, or verify the outcome of the solution. Which one is it?
We eliminate D.
Manage.
It's B.
It's manage.
B.
That is correct. Those are the 5 tasks. I got to admit to y'all, whenever I first started working with the Babok, I was like, I've been a BA for a long time. I know all this stuff. And then I started studying to take the test. And it's like I've got to memorize all these task names. That doesn't make any sense to me. It is important. It is so important to get the concepts attached to the task. It's like the handle to the suitcase of all the information that you need.
I have a mnemonic for that. Let's see. It's Peter can catch catfish while making food.
Peter can catch catfish while making food.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's PCCCM.
Love it.
That's very creative. I like it.
Yeah.
I've got to see this. Peter can catch catfish while making food.
Yeah,
Okay.
so two of the letters don't work, but
It's okay. But so I'll tell you what makes my brain fry with that is I don't mind mnemonics at all. But whenever you go over here and you look at your what is this one? The change, need, solution, stakeholder value, and context. It has the same acronym. It's the BACCM or something like that. In fact, I made one of our IIBA leaders very upset whenever I call it bacon one day, just because I was, bugging him. You, me, bacon, we're good. And he was like, it's not very good.
I will also say that when I took this and passed it in 2017, I had a much less clear idea of what was going on. I'm still not quite sure how I passed it, but I did have these kind of flow charts and the flow from one test to another pretty well in my head, even though I didn't understand the full context of everything, particularly chapter 7 and 8. So, do the best you can. If the more you have in your head, the better off you'll be.
Right.
Don't
And
be frightened of it.
I think I've told y'all that we don't know the score that you have to make because it's kind of adjustable based upon people's performance. But I'm confident that if you're making a 75 consistently on each knowledge area, you'll probably be able to pass. My friend Erin tells people 65. And so I'm like, no, we're going 75. I want to be sure. I want to get y'all fully prepared. Okay. Which one of the following statements about elicitation and collaboration, the whole knowledge area, is not true? Elicitation and collaboration can be planned, unplanned, or both. Elicitation activities may trigger additional elicitation. Elicitation and collaboration are ongoing activities and focus on all types of business analysis information. Elicitation and collaboration focus only on requirements elicitation. Let's give it a 10 count. Okay, what can we eliminate? I mean, which one is not true?
D is in David.
D.
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 I love
Because
it.
it's only,
Statement is only
say
partially
only.
true. When it says an absolute, it's like, I hate it. I don't like it at all. Elicitation and collaboration focus on the elicitation of all business analysis information, not just the elicitation of requirements. Sheila has been working on a project to upgrade a cross-border money transfer system due to new regulations. For this project, Sheila will need to collaborate with a number of government officials to understand the relevant parts of the new regulation, its scope, any expectations, penalty limits for non-compliance, and other relevant information in the given context. Which of the following is not an activity that would help prepare government stakeholders for the requirements elicitation section? I'm sorry, that would help them prepare. So we want to help them prepare for the elicitation session. They need to understand all of this stuff. So, she's preparing for elicitation, right?
Yep.
So Sheila should educate the stakeholders on any elicitation techniques they're unfamiliar with that will be used in the elicitation session. She should share any relevant supporting documents to the stakeholders before the requirement solicitation session. She should send out a meeting agenda to relevant stakeholders as well before the elicitation session, or she should explore any relevant supporting documents available in the organization and determine what to collect from stakeholders. So let's give it a 10 count and come back and eliminate one. Okay, what should we eliminate, guys? Which one is not true?
C.
D is in dog?
C like child.
C like child. Thank you. So you don't like the meeting agenda idea?
No, and the reason behind it is sending an agenda doesn't necessarily explain to your stakeholders. It just kind of gives them a heads up.
That's true. Okay. So what do we think is the correct answer?
I will say A.
A.
Why do we like A?
It's going above. It's doing multiple steps ahead. It's saying educate the stakeholders when we're still preparing for elicitation.
Think about what would happen if they came into a workshop and you started saying, we're going to do this thing nobody knows about. How much progress are you going to make?
Not much.
Business analysts may need to educate stakeholders on how an elicitation technique works or what information is needed. For instance, if they don't know what a RACI document is, you need to give them a key. If they've never done brainstorming, you need to give them heads up so they're prepared for it. And I want to step out for just a second and say, guys, also consider in real life, if your stakeholders are introverts or extroverts and their level of technical acumen. It changes what techniques you're going to use with them. You know, if it's like we need everybody to put a sticky note on their head that has the name of an animal, and people walk around and make animal sounds at each other until you figure out what you're sticking. That's going to be miserable for a bunch of introverts. You know, I mean, that's not going to help anything. It's going to hurt. Okay.
Yeah. Can
Sorry,
you go back,
that
please?
was
Can you
incorrect.
see the
Hey,
correct?
Oh,
that
I'm
was
That was
sorry.
incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
so
it's
sorry.
The correct is D.
Yeah,
It is D. I'm sorry. I
yeah.
started talking, didn't I? So it's a good idea for Sheila to review any supporting documents and determine what to collect from stakeholders. This would help Sheila prepare, but not help her stakeholders who will attend the elicitation session. So which of the following is not an activity? And that's why D is the correct answer.
Oh.
A is the answer that would have been if we didn't say not.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Yeah, that was a tricky one.
Ooh.
I missed it too. I normally highlight the nots and I missed it. So reading every single word is important. Reading every single answer is important, even if you think the first or second one is the right answer. Okay. Which of the following is the best definition of a business analyst? Guys, you know this is not chapter 4. This is straight out chapter 1, right? But you know the answer. Any person who holds that title or role in an organization. Any person who performs business analysis tasks described in the BABOK, no matter their job title. A trusted advisor to all stakeholders identified during the course of the business analysis lifecycle, or a trusted advisors to business personnel. I'm just going to let you go ahead and answer this one.
B.
yes and boy.
B as Bob.
B is in boy.
This is the definition of a business analyst. And you have no idea how many times I have to tell people, I don't care if you've had the title before, let's talk about what your responsibilities were. And they discovered they were doing it. They just didn't use the vocabulary. They didn't have the awareness.
The product owners and scrum masters often are business analysts. Certainly the product owner is a BA type role. So
Anybody who's a manager or an analyst or a parent, you're a business analyst. You are a business analyst working on a project to upgrade the current billing system. After eliciting all the requirements from relevant stakeholders, you set up a meeting with solution team to explain the new functionality requested and to review the changes needed to the existing functionality. In this meeting with developers, you discover that some requirements will not work with the current system functionality, and you find inconsistencies and gaps in the requirements. As a business analyst, what could you have done to avoid these issues earlier in the process?
Mm.
I'm going to
So
say
what?
B.
Okay. Could have involved the development team in elicitation activities. Let's read them all.
Yes.
The business analyst could have studied the current system functionalities as well before eliciting requirements. C is the business analyst could have questioned the right SMEs or knowledgeable stakeholders who had understood the system functionality. Or D, the business analyst could have confirmed the elicitation results right after elicitation activities to ensure they were accurate.
Mm.
Now, if I remember right, this is one of those that it's like, it doesn't answer the same way I would have. So be sure you're answering the way the Babok would. Okay? So is there one we can eliminate?
We eliminate the A.
I hate A.
Yeah.
Do not make it my responsibility to understand what somebody else's job is because I'm not ever going to do it as well as they do it. So what do we think the correct answer is according to the Babok?
Delta.
D.
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 E?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a
And
step.
you are correct. Elicited information could be confirmed to identify and resolve any gaps or problems before the resources are committed to use this information. So this one seems logical to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you're right, Bob.
Iteration and confirm.
Ideally,
again-
we should.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, normally when I always have a developer or two,
Yep.
or the stakeholders, whoever's the developer for their particular software or whatever, they're usually included, and so they can say, it's a get everybody in there and get it done. Get
Yep.
everybody in there all at once, but
Mhm.
okay.
It is so nice whenever the developer is going to go, wait, our system can't do what you're asking for. So let's talk about what we can do to meet that need. But
Mhm.
One
if
of
they're
one
not
of the
in
thi-
there,
But
Yeah, one of the things that I've done, because developers, at least in my company, they're busy, they're multitasking, they're doing all kinds of stuff. They're probably not paying attention in those meetings necessarily. And so part of, once the business side feels like all the requirements are captured, I specifically have a meeting that is going to be with the actual developer, my project lead, to see if they have any discrepancies within the requirements, make sure they understand everything before I even take it for sign off.
oh yeah, for sure. You need all the SMEs to sign off on the, is it possible? Is there any conflicts? Do we have schedule problems? Everything before you actually say, oh yeah, we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You have
What?
to attack the problem from many points of view.
Mm-hmm. What are the possible forms that that business analysis information package could include? So forms, is it text, matrices, diagrams, and presentations? Informal documentation, formal and informal documentation, or formal documentation? Let's,
C.
A.
you
I
like
think
B
it's
as the
A.
correct answer?
It's A.
A.
A, because that's
Agree.
a form of communication.
Text, matrices, and diagrams can be considered formal or informal documentation. Presentations are a separate form. There's like a sentence in the Babok that talks about this, and if you don't read it, you're not going to get this part, right? That's why it's so important to read the Babok. I've told y'all that typically you need to study 120 to 160 hours to be able to pass this exam. Somebody else has told me several times that he believes you've got to read through the Babok 3 times to be able to pass the exam, which kind of lines up, but I've never thought about it as that being the measurement. Stephen has conducted a number of elicitation sessions with a group of stakeholders from the mortgage loan department for their requirements as part of a new project. How will Stephen determine when requirements elicitation from the business group is complete? How do you know if it's complete? When the business analysts are validated that all items defined in the scope of elicitation are completed, when all stakeholders from the group have shared understanding of the requirements they have provided, when no new stakeholders are identified in that business group to share their requirements, or when all stakeholders from the group have shared their requirements. Let's give it a 10 count. Let people think about this one. Okay. What do we want to eliminate?
We can eliminate
D.
C.
C, we can eliminate C.
Okay, eliminate C.
Yep. And
What do we think the correct answer is then?
A.
I would think Bravo.
Bravo.
B.
I think it's A
Tell me why you like A better than B.
because you have the defined in the scope of elicitation are completed. Like defined in the scope, because during the project, you will keep having requirements and it may keep changing. So you need at
Okay.
least to have the scope.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
think it's confirm elicitation results.
okay, so why does somebody like B better than A?
Because I do believe that in order to define something complete, all of the stakeholders should have a shared understanding of the requirement.
Okay. So I'm going to
agree. But A is not the answer because we are also confirming what's not in scope.
okay. That's a good point, Ashley. Thank you. Let's test B.
Mm.
So this is that all stakeholders can have a shared understanding that they provided, but that doesn't mean that we have all the requirements. So defining scope of elicitation allows the business analyst to identify when the elicitation activity is complete. So the scope of elicitation is different than the scope of the project. And if you didn't get that one right, that's 4.1.4.1.
I hate that answer.
Well, but that's what the BABOK says.
I
I
get
think
that.
I think
I
for that one,
often disagree with minor elements of the BABA.
Did somebody else have a comment?
yeah, I was gonna say that I think B is included in A because if you validated that everything's completed, then that validation is saying, okay, all the stakeholders have shared their requirements and what's provided. We validated everything. That's my thing. That's my thought is that when I'm validating, I've talked to everybody that I need to talk to, all of the, I don't know. That's
I
my thought.
would say the opposite of what you said. I love what you said. But A is included in B
Okay.
because if everybody has come to a shared understanding, that means you haven't missed anything. And so you've done the full scope of elicitation. Because that coming to an understanding will illuminate things that you missed. That's my theory. I'd have to read that section and find out what it's saying.
So when we look and prepare for elicitation, one of the first sections in elements is understand the scope of elicitation, and it will dive deeper into it for you. Okay?
I get that, but the participants should know all that.
Yep.
I
Welcome, Amanda.
think that's a question that is only there to exercise, making you look at every section of the BABOK, and you would never get a question on the actual exam that's that tricky, but that's just a feeling I have.
Well, I'm going to say that it's true that the actual exam is not this tricky at all. The actual exam is very straightforward. But the reason that Watermark sets it up like this is because they really want you to dig into the concepts. They really want you to read every sentence in the BABOK. So it's effective for what we need it for, even if it doesn't mirror the actual exam exactly. It's the best job I've ever seen of any of the tools that I've worked with. Which stakeholders participate in confirming elicitation results? So confirming elicitation results is a task. It's got a finite number of stakeholders. So is it stakeholders who have participated in the elicitation tasks, the BA, stakeholders with enough authority to approve requirements, or the project team? Let's eliminate one, guys.
Project team.
Are we eliminating that one, or is that the answer?
Eliminating.
We're eliminating the project team. Okay.
And the BA.
And the BA.
Yeah.
That's just ludicrous. Why would we eliminate the BA? Okay, so is it stakeholders who participated in elicitation tasks or with enough authority to approve requirements?
The stakeholder who have participated in elicitation tasks.
Yeah, I would say A.
Okay.
I
Very
thought it
good.
would be
You like C better? Let's test both of them. So
no, I
this
think C would be more of like approving the
Yeah,
requirements.
not
So
confirming.
A would be reviewing, confirming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, confirming is reviewing. So of the four responses, this is the best as they could be considered domain SMEs. Incidentally, I don't know if we've hit this yet. Domain SME, anybody with knowledge in a specific area. They don't have to have that title. An accountant would be a domain SME for accounting, right? So anytime you see domain SME, don't think it's like the person that sits in this particular desk. They sit in any desk in the building. Kathy is a BA and has just been assigned to work on a government compliance project. Known as a doer, she's anxious to get started with her elicitation and collaboration activities, especially regarding an interview with a key stakeholder who will go on vacation in a week. Her mentor, Ellie, urges her to slow down a bit and complete some activities before conducting the interview. What does Ellie recommend Kathy do before she starts elicitation? So Kathy wants to jump in and go to the conduct elicitation task, right? But what is the inputs for conduct elicitation?
Prepare elicitation activity plan.
Oh, looky there. Isn't that cool how that works out? Let's read them all to be sure we're right. Develop an elicitation plan, elicitation results unconfirmed, elicitation confirmed, business analysis information communicated, and stakeholder engagement. Understand needs, gather business analysis information, develop the stakeholder engagement approach, and the business analysis performance assessment. Understand needs, gather business analysis information, develop the stakeholder engagement approach. Do we still believe it's A?
Yes.
No, I would say no, but go on.
What do you think it is, Amanda?
Well, she's just been assigned to work on the project. You can't jump straight into elicitation. You need to understand the context. You need to understand what it is what the expected outcomes are. What's your North Star? I would be doing a lot more background, understanding before I jump into the
I think that's what
elicitation
Ellie is
activity.
suggesting she does. But
Yeah,
of
okay.
these four answers, which one do you think is right?
Or I think it's D.
Tell me why.
I need to understand what I'm doing. I need to understand the why. What is the project all about? What's the current state? What's the future state? What are the issues we're trying to solve with this implementation? And what role this particular stakeholder has in the entire project.
Okay, so I want to show y'all something.
But in the prepared
So-
elicitation, you have all these as elements or tools and guidelines. Yeah.
Yes,
So you
yes.
have
Oh,
them
So
already.
she wants to jump to this one, but she needs this thing and she also needs these
Oh.
things, right?
okay. So it's basically what. Okay, good.
So let's test it. So understand needs, gather business analysis information, develop stakeholder engagement approach, and the business analysis performance assessment. We didn't
Can you?
talk about that one, but that one would
No.
come from, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I keep talking over you. I just wanted to. I was just leading into that. Can you explain business analysis performance assessment? Because this is the one I keep getting stuck on. Because this is a little bit of the one of
Sure.
those nebulous ones where it's difficult to measure.
So with business analysis performance assessment, it includes a comparison of plan versus actual performance from previous projects. You know, in this project, I wanted to talk to them once a month, and then I discovered I needed to talk to them once a week. So for future, I'm going to
Okay.
plan on talking to them once a week because it's a lessons learned.
Okay.
Then identifying the root cause of variances from the expected performance. The reason that had to change was because they were needier than I thought they would be, or they needed a lot more detail than I anticipated. You know, you identify that root. Proposed approaches to address the issues. You know, it's like maybe a workshop isn't the thing that this project needs. You know, what kind of approaches, and then other
Sure.
findings to help understand the performance of business analysis processes. So this is what you take out of every single project that you take, and then you take those results and improvement opportunities into every next project. And it doesn't actually, you don't create it at the end of the project necessarily. You should create it as you go along the project. Anytime you
Got it.
go, oh, that's something I could do better, or that's something that's not working well, what can I do better to make it work better? Does that make sense? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so the reason we got this one wrong was because we didn't consider the business analysis performance assessment, which is an input into every single thing. And she's just been assigned to work on a government compliance project. We don't even know she's new.
Can you
You're not going to
click
get
on
Can,
A?
can you,
happy
yeah,
to.
can you put A, please?
This is a listed input for conducting a elicitation, but there's no evidence that Kathy understands the need for the project. So she needs that also. And has developed a stakeholder engagement approach. So she needs that also. If it said she had those, we wouldn't need them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without those inputs listed in down here, it going ahead and preparing the elicitation plan would be premature. She has to have the inputs to go through that task to get to the output that is the input to the next one. I'm sure that I might have mentioned it. I'm going to say it again. Whenever I first started studying, I started going, oh, there's this task, and the outputs go into here, and then that goes into the next task. And I started trying to diagram it, and it works pretty well for maybe the first 2 chapters, but then it turns into a mess because things are just like the input that's an output of chapter 7 comes up to chapter 4 and stuff like that. And it gets to be where it's not useful. You can go through the process and that exercise if you want to, but for me, it wasn't useful. Okay, let's move on. There are 5 types of elicitation and collaboration tasks that business analysts must complete as part of their roles and responsibilities. So types of tasks. Which of the following is not a task that the business analyst may complete as part of their roles and responsibilities in this knowledge area? Engage stakeholders, communicate business analysis information, prepare for elicitation, or conduct elicitation. So 3 of these are, one of this is not. What do y'all think?
A.
So you
Yeah.
think that's the answer? The one that's not?
Yeah, A.
Okay. This is not a stated task for this knowledge area. Tasks include prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, communicate business analysis information, and manage stakeholder collaboration. Amanda, before you got here, we hit something that I want to be sure that you catch. You, I'm in the wrong one. You conduct a elicitation. Before you can confirm it, it has to be documented. And we hit that question. I don't know if you were here whenever we did that.
Cool.
You can't
Thanks.
confirm what's not documented, is what Watermark wants you to know.
Good.
Although I document as I talk to people, so you know,
Same.
yeah.
Same.
But anyway, you got to know that. Which of the following is a common risk a business analyst must continually monitor in relationship to the elicitation and collaboration knowledge area? So a common risk. Stakeholders may have conflicting opinions regarding prioritization of requirements. Stakeholders may not understand the models used. Some requirements may be out of scope for the proposed solution, and requirements may be diverted from other projects to other work. So let's give it a 10 count. Let y'all think about that.
I think they're all valid risks, but a common risk is that stakeholders are regularly pulled away from the project.
I agree.
Okay.
They're all valid risks, but I think they want you to select this one as the most appropriate answer for this question. That's just my opinion.
Okay. I've got one vote for D. What do y'all think?
Yeah, 2 votes for
Yeah.
D.
D.
Okay. While this is a risk across all business analysis tasks and knowledge areas, it is specifically called out in the managed stakeholder collaboration task as it could directly impact the objectives of the elicitation and collaboration knowledge area. I one time worked at a nuclear power plant, and I had stakeholders that were responsible for a very critical database, and I needed to get information from them. But whenever refueling, which was scheduled ahead of time and I didn't understand what it meant, when refueling happened, they all changed jobs. They were no longer at that job. They had a totally different job during refueling. So they were pulled away, and I couldn't make any forward progress on my project. Which is perfectly normal in a nuclear power plant. It's just I'd never worked at one before. Benita is a business analyst for her organization. Sam is a data analyst who asked to sit with Benita for a minute in the cafeteria to give her information he believes is relevant to the project. Sam continues by describing a seemingly complex data flow. Which of the following is the next logical step for Benita to take? Now, I want you to remember, according to the BABOK, okay? Ask Sam to access the requirements documentation in the project shared folder and add the data requirements. Would we ever do that?
No.
No.
It's like, no, don't touch my requirements. You might erase something, please. Ask Sam to send an email documenting and more thoroughly describing the information to ensure understanding. Schedule a workshop with relevant stakeholders to construct a data flow diagram. Or refer Sam to the data architect so the information can be included in the designs. So we've eliminated one. What do you think the BABOK says is the next logical step if you get information that's complex?
The workshop?
Workshop.
Yeah, I would say C.
See.
Yeah, see.
Okay. You are correct. The
Okay.
BABOK offers guidance that a BA information derived from an unplanned or just-in-time activity might require deeper exploration through a planned elicitation activity. Since the information conveyed was complex in nature, it requires additional elicitation activities to thoroughly understand Sam's information. Now, in the real world, I would have Sam sit down with me and the architect and say that again so that they can hear you. But that's not what the BABOK says. They say do something. You get unplanned information. You might need a planned activity.
Could we see why D wasn't the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And D and check answer and tempting, but the BA offers
Yeah.
guidance. Same thing.
Right.
Not to mention that all requirements need to be documented, confirmed, organized, and perhaps modeled. So we need to be involved in that. That's why C is. Check. And next. When does the task of managed stakeholder collaboration begin?
Just skip
Once
one.
you're part.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I thought we skipped one. I thought it said Bonita
we?
was the next one.
This one is the one we just answered.
Oh, sorry. I didn't
okay.
see. Sorry.
It's all right.
Bonita
It's
was
all
on
right.
the wrong page.
I appreciate y'all keeping me straight. When does the task of managed stakeholder collaboration begin? Once the requirements have been confirmed? Whenever it would add value to business analysis activities? Once stakeholders have been identified and analyzed? Or once requirements have been elicited? What should we eliminate, guys?
Eliminate B.
Yeah.
Well, like B,
B.
why?
No, because
Do we
according to
know
the
why we
BABOK,
don't like B?
Not,
yeah, because it's not according to the BABOK.
Okay.
It's not added value.
It's not the
No.
right answer. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good reason not to like it. So what do you think the right answer is?
Once
I would say
requirement.
C.
C.
I think C.
Okay, let's test C. A BA cannot begin collaborating with stakeholders until they've been identified and analyzed to understand their preferences for effective collaboration. Very good. I'm going to ask you if your real name is not what you're using on Zoom, if you'll please drop it into the chat, because I can't, whenever I do a attendance thing, it will give me what your screen name is. And I want to be sure I give you credit for attending. Yes, Bob.
I was just going to say that one confused me a bit. Hopefully you were not confused, but I was looking at thinking it was A because you have to it's task 5, right?
Yeah.
And you've got task 2, D is 2 and A is 3, so you would have to do those first. So that's why I thought A.
Me as
And
well. I
B,
thought
it didn't make sense, but C, obviously, you have to do that before. And so doing things in order is not always obvious what the question means.
That's true. Good job. You're selecting elicitation techniques for an upcoming requirements workshop. What is not a valid criterion to utilize when selecting techniques for an elicitation activity? So this is a not. 3 of these are true, 1 is not. Cost and time constraints, desired outcomes, the culture of the organization, or your preferences.
B.
Can we eliminate one?
What is not valid criteria? Your preferences?
yeah, your
No,
preference.
D.
Preferences,
That's not.
Yeah.
A BA should select techniques based upon desired outcomes, cost and time constraints, the culture of the organization, and access to sources of business analysis information, not their own preferences, even though it might be more comfortable. I one time worked at a company that everyone that else at the company was Israeli and mostly Jewish, and which it was their culture. And so they had some holidays, and they would include everybody but me. And it was like, it's just the way it is. It's the company culture, for that thing. I'm not Jewish or Israeli. I can't speak their language, but I can understand a little bit now. You're eliciting requirements by analyzing historical data to identify trends. What task are you performing? So the task here, are you confirming elicitation results? Are you data mining? Are you doing document analysis? Or are you conducting elicitation?
I say alpha.
I think D.
Uh,
I think D too.
I think
Because,
it's
it's like
C.
you're researching
Yeah, you're
and you're
still
doing document
eliciting.
analysis.
Let's test
I
D.
would say C.
You're
Oh,
utilizing the
just-
research type of elicitation. So there's 3 different kinds of elicitation. There's experiments, research. Can you tell me what the third one is?
Collab.
Collaboration?
Collaborative. Mhm.
Collaborative. Okay. Honestly, I'd forgotten. I was just testing y'all. Which stakeholders participate in the conduct elicitation task? Stakeholders who were originally identified in the elicitation activity plan, customers, end users, domain SMEs, and implementation SMEs. Depending on the activity, any stakeholder with relevant knowledge or experience, or only the sponsor. Let's eliminate one, guys.
D.
D. You can eliminate
Sponsor.
D.
Eliminate D.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we think the correct answer is?
C.
C.
D.
I think C.
Right. This is the catch-all participant. Others noted include the customer and domain implementation SME and end users and sponsor. Okay, we are at the end. Exam results, 84%. Guys, how are you feeling about chapter 4? Do you
Good.
feel like you have it pretty well under your belt and we can go on to chapter 5? Or do you want to do chapter 4 for one more week?
Can we combine, let's say, because we did the 3 and 4, can we have 3, 4 exams? So we start going back, like, can we, do they have this option? So every
Yes,
time
we
we
do.
do a chapter, we
We can do
combine.
like this,
Yeah.
and it will pick from chapter 3 and chapter 4. Would y'all prefer to do it that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
So,
Okay.
Write
so
that
this way,
down, Thea.
Say it again, Bob.
Write
that
that
down?
down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got it. So next week we'll do chapters 3 and 4 together. And then we're going to move on to only chapter 5. Once we master chapter 5, we'll do 3, 4, and 5. Does that work?
exactly.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. We have a few minutes. Bob, do you want to show us your
Yeah, I do. If I can have the screen.
Let me give you the screen. I'm going to make you co-host. Confirm. Guys, this is something that Bob has been working on for many years and refining it. And every once in a while,
You
we'll
have
come in.
to unshare.
Do I? Okay.
Wait, no, we're good.
Every once in a while, he'll find something. He'll go, I will have to add that.
Yeah, so what can you all see?
We can see your screen.
It's all blue.
Yes.
Okay. You never know where this is going to end up. So these are the things you do in a project. And then and I won't go into a lot of detail. Once you get it streamlined, you figure out what problem you're going to solve, figure out what's going on at your as is state, you deal with some data and whatever. That really is done all the way through. Then you do requirements, design, implementation, and test, right? That's basic SDLC, it's basic framework, whatever. And the way the BABOK is written, it always talks about activities or skills you apply, but they're all applied within this kind of framework. This is the way I was thinking about business analysis when I took the exam, and it wasn't the best way, but I did pass the exam, so that's worth something. But here's the money shot. So you remember when I talked about iterating, if you look at all of these phases, we know we have to do these things. So let's say we're doing discovery and data collection to find out what's going on right now. Say we don't know that. We're going to have a conversation, and that's why this is shown as a loop here, the orange one. And we go around and around, and we keep doing that until everybody agrees. You know, we interview people, we collect data, we document stuff. We haven't reviewed people say, nah, you don't have that right, you missed this. You keep doing it till everyone agrees. And then you move on to requirements, and you do similar things in every phase. Why do I draw it this way? Because when you do things later on in a project, you may find out that you missed something and have to go back and add or modify things. So every conversation you're having, you can either move to the next conversation or move back to a previous one. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time talking about all this. I won't go into it in detail. But that's basically the main thing I want to get across. And how that works is if you're doing waterfall, in theory, do everything in order. As a practical matter, even in waterfall, you don't do everything in order. There's always that iteration within phases and between phases, back and forth. That and when you're doing Agile and Scrum, you're doing the first three things generate a backlog, then you're doing the last three things to pull items out of the backlog and implement them. And there are more situations and so on. But it's always the same things going on in each phase. And once you get the initial product or system built, any modifications you make while you're using it over time, that's a separate situation, a separate engagement, going through the same steps. But the key is always iteration and communication, and that's it. Thanks
Very
for
nice.
the time.
Thank you, Bob. If y'all are interested in looking at more of Bob's work, his website is full of this good stuff. I really appreciate that he makes it available to us, and it is a nice way to look at some of his stuff. He's got some stuff, guys. He's made some simulations. He used to do border crossing simulations of, you know, if we get 400 people in here and 3 buses, and what would it look like and where would the flow be? And you can see it on the screen because he created his own development. It's so cool. Bob, could you put a link to that kind of simulation in the chat so people can grab it instead of having to look for
I
it?
will do the following, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, folks, as of next week, we will do chapters 3 and 4. And then I think we're going to be good at that point, and then we'll move on to chapter 5. So if you want to start studying chapter 5 a little bit ahead, it's not a bad idea. Chapter 5 has 5 tasks in it also. So it's very similar to what you've already been through. Poor Amanda, our time changed and now her time is about to change, and she's gonna work on it. But Amanda, recordings are available to you. Let me share the easy way to get to them.
Thank you so much. I didn't even realize.
It's okay. So if you go to rpchurchill.com, which is this right here, and you go to the Tampa Bay Study Group and you go to YouTube, they have so kindly put all of our recordings in this little section right here. So as of tomorrow morning, we'll have this recording uploaded. Okay.
Amazing.
All right. You
You
guys
had
reach out.
Cliff to thank for that.
Yes, Cliff does that. He's done a really good job. He's changed these all to be a master class. We're just getting better and better, guys. I just love it. If you are interested in working with your local IIBA chapter or the Tampa Bay IIBA chapter, I encourage you. It has made a big difference in my career, in my life, and it's the benefits far outweigh the time that it calls for. So if you need any information about that, reach out to me. You can reach out to me through LinkedIn or through Slack. I will talk to y'all later. Please do ask me if you have any questions. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.